over the whole fact of we're he's being shoved down our throats kind of thing.
Right.
I don't need that in my life.
Right.
I have enough bullshit shoved down my throats day in and day out. I want to be invested in the guy, and I haven't been given the opportunity to be properly invested in Roman Reigns.
So, if they would have turned Roman heel,
I would have loved it so much more.
long ago, would he be a mega babyface by now?
No. He would have been a mega heel.
Well, no, I'm
Because
saying,
you
I'm saying,
gave
if
him-
they would have turned him heel whenever they were. Oh no, we
What,
don't
like
want
3
him.
years ago?
Yeah. Would he be a mega babyface by now?
It wouldn't be mega. Wouldn't be mega.
No.
Because
But the crowd would have been cheering him.
the crowd would cheer him now.
From then
Because
until now.
right,
For sure.
they would have eventually cheered him. This is the same thing that happened to John. It didn't happen to John until much later in his career because we weren't force-fed John.
Right.
It was a slow, not a super slow,
It was a slow 4-speed.
but yeah, it was a slow, you know, and I think he came up, I mean, with his first WrestleMania, he's winning, he's not even, let me rephrase that, he's not even on the card, but he's there.
Right.
WrestleMania 19.
Yep. Forgot about that.
I did too. But then his second WrestleMania, he's on the card. He's like opening the show,
The show.
but it's with Big Show, and he
Yep.
wins the U.S. title.
Yep.
And then the rise of John Cena in that next year
That's when they finally took off.
slowly takes off.
Right.
And then I think he walked into WrestleMania 21.
He won WrestleMania 2. He won the championship at WrestleMania 20.
Right. Let me take it back. He won the championship there. Now, mind you, the next 9 years of WrestleManias, he headlined every single one.
Yep.
But by that point, he'd been built up properly enough to where he had the star power. Now, don't get me wrong, by 25, 26, we were all kind of over it. But that's where Roman's at now.
Yeah. He didn't put in 10 years before this happened.
Well, I mean, it's, you blame it on Vince or you blame it on whoever.
I agree. But Roman's going to take the brunt of it.
Of course, because he's the guy that it's happening to. Now, I want to go back to the point I made earlier while it's fresh in my mind. So, you remember when I was talking about how, you want to have a top match and then downtime, then a top match and then downtime?
Yeah.
People, in all honesty, were not heavily invested in the Undertaker-Roman Reigns match, and that diminished it heavily to me. People were not invested in the Universal title match, that diminished it heavily for me.
Until the end.
People were not invested in the World Championship match, that diminished it for me. I don't like how they booked it accordingly.
So,
Because if you do it to where it's hype up, downtime, hype up, downtime, hype up, downtime, it lets the crowd be invested heavily in matches that they should be. And the last 4 matches, no one gave a shit about. Now, they still chanted Undertaker, stuff like that, but The Undertaker deserves so much more than that.
So based on everything that happened tonight, would you take those 4 matches at the end, put them in the front towards the middle?
I would have just changed the order of how everything went down. I would have changed the order of how everything went down. The Hardys were going to get a pop. Heavy one. You already know this.
Mm-hmm.
The Raw Women's match, if you're going to play it like that, they should be a fluffer match. AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon, perfect to be the number 1 match. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal should have been on the main show. That should have been a fluffer match. The Intercontinental title match should have been a fluffer match. It should have gone in between. The SmackDown's women's match was a fluffer match, but at that point, after 7 hours, people are tired, bro. They're tired. It's over. It's hard to get that back. Their positioning of the matches...
They only popped for Naomi.
Yeah. The positioning of the matches were f***ed. And it took away from The Undertaker's match. And I'm saying this to defend The Undertaker heavily, because he deserves a bigger reaction throughout his entire match, especially that this is
I
his
think
last
a lot
one.
of people were kind of like me when Roman came out first and they knew they were Taker was going on last. and all the pieces started falling into place. Aside from them being tired, I think it was hitting people that this is it.
Yeah.
This is
JR came out, and then Roman came out.
This is the last ride for the cowboy kind of thing.
Right.
It for me, it really sombered my mood.
Right.
It really just kind of.
But I'm looking at it as a grander scheme.
Right, you're looking at it as a grander scheme, but we want to talk about The Undertaker and him getting the pops that he deserves and stuff like that. He got it at the end when it mattered.
Right.
I think a lot of people were just kind of, for lack of a, regretting to start something, taking it in.
The end. The end of Jericho. Take it in, man.
Boy.
It's so good.
So, I think a lot of people were taking it in, and for those diehard fans that grew up with The Undertaker and everything like that, it was a tough pill to swallow.
It is a very tough pill to
And then knowing who he's standing across the ring from, that's a bigger pill to swallow.
You know he's not losing any match for a long time.
So it was kind of one of those things where they were really deflated.
Yeah.
But I feel that the Orlando crowd gave Undertaker the proper respect following the match that they did.
It was Roman crying.
I cried. I sat down there and I cried.
Yep.
I think the most troublesome picture for me as a fan was them watching it at home, was doing the replay, and then cutting back to Taker's music playing and him staying in the ring in full gear.
With full gear. Yeah, that hit me.
That's when I went.
Yep.
You know, it settled in. It was real.
Yep.
You know, I mean, Taker's been a staplehood of our lives, our wrestling lives.
He's been a WrestleMania consistent for 27 years. That's insane. Like, JBL hit the nail on the head whenever he did the interview with all the superstars. He's been on top for 20 years. He's on top now. Like, he's still the top guy who literally shows up once a year and people get excited. He goes to basketball events and people freak out. He goes anywhere and Undertaker retire and people freak out. People see him in an airport as Mark Calloway and people freak out. Like, that's huge.
It's like, come on, man. He lives in Austin. I live in Austin. I've never seen Taker. It's crazy. It's crazy.
He live in Austin.
It's in Austin.
When did he move to Austin?
Been there forever.
What?
He's
Go
been
with
there
it.
Forever.
Go with it, yeah. Still though, man, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, I mean, Taker will always get the pop.
Yeah.
Now, I mentioned, I kind of alluded to this in the live stream. So let's look at 29, WrestleMania 29, for a second.
WWE doesn't acknowledge that.
Why?
Because they hate CM Punk.
But, so we fight CM Punk.
Right.
Paul Bearer just dies.
Yep.
Okay?
Rest in peace. For real seats, no pun intended.
From that WrestleMania on, Paul Bear's dead. The Aaron's not around Undertaker anymore. And he's struggling. How coincidental is that?
Yeah.
That 30, 31, 32, and now 33, they were all kind of struggles for him to get through.
Yeah. It's a hard thing. He went 20 years
I agree.
with Paul Bearer. Like, even when Paul Bearer wasn't on TV, he went 20 years with Paul Bearer. Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
And then to see Paul Bearer die, like, dude, that's fucking insane. And then for WWE to make an angle out of it, like, that's... I won't take it away from Mark. He handled it like a champion, and I won't take it away from Punk because he did what he was told to do like a boss, and he did it really, really well with Heyman. But a friend of yours of 20 years has legit died. He has been... It's the same concept as if Paul Heyman dies and Brock is trying to continue to be Brock Lesnar without Paul Heyman. It's not the same.
You're right.
It's not the same.
I 100% agree.
And someone tries to make an angle out of Paul Heyman's demise. That's... No. Like, that's a lot.
Take the angle out of it. I want to touch back on I wonder if at that moment Taker realized how mortal he was. Because you got to think, after a certain point, you kind of get that. I don't think I can ever stop doing this kind of bit.
After 29, he seemed mortal.
Yeah.
30 to now, he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Undertaker, but he's human. He's man.
Right.
So I think it was a big turning point in the Undertaker's career.
I think it was too.
Great career by the Undertaker. Overall, I think it was a great show tonight.
Better
I think.
than expected.
Yeah, I was kind of nervous going in, but it lived up to the ultimate thrill ride bit. Well, because think about it. We were doing these predictions, and we're literally sitting there going, I don't know. Especially at the end.
Yeah, we got clutch with the.
We were sitting there going, I don't know. And we were arguing amongst the four of us who's going to say something first.
You mean like prediction wise?
Yeah. So it was just kind of. It was fun. It was exciting. It was everything I hoped it would be, from excitement and just sheer overall awesome factor.
Clap, 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 clap.
I think that it was, the fact that this was our first official big, huge deal.
Yep.
1 year after we decided to do this. To number one, see we're still doing it.
Yeah.
And number two, to have all the stuff that we have, the setup that we have.